Good evening and welcome to Power of Fashion, where one decision can absolutely change your life. I am your host, Tara Patton, a fashion stylist and image coach, and I am so excited to bring to you today from all the way from Clearwater Beach, Florida, just a really inspiring entrepreneur who started out as just trying to make his way. And he was quick to travel the world and find all of these solutions to some health problems. And he's written a book, and I'll let Craig tell you more about it. But I am so excited to have Craig with us today because he is taking control of his health. He has written a book called Ultimate Health, and I want everybody that's listening to break free from their health issues and live their best life like Craig is doing. So without further ado, welcome, Craig.
Thank you, Tara. And going with the theme of your show, I thought I must wear a nice shirt or else that would not fit with the show because I'm not known for my fashion, but I'm trying my best today for
You
you
look
and the audience.
fantastic. I
Okay,
love
great.
it. It's so summery. You can never go wrong with a floral.
That's right.
I know you're actually better dressed than me today. So
Well, I can
you
give you
win.
I can give you some fashion advice. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. That's
Well,
awesome. Thank you for having me.
but you're definitely living your best life. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for
Yeah.
taking the time today. I know just before we got on the air, so to speak, you were sharing with me some of your journeys and your adventures, and I just know that the listeners are going to be so excited to learn more about all the cool stuff that you've created and learned, and just yeah. So let's start with the one decision that changed your life.
Okay. Well, that was when I was 21 years old, and people need to know that my health and life was not always great. 21 years old, my health fell apart. I was in chronic pain. I had chronic anxiety. I'd wake up in the morning and my heart would be racing, and I just want to fall back asleep because I had so much anxiety. But I just couldn't because my mind was already turned on, and then I'd get out of bed and I'd walk to the bathroom. I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd go like, what happened? Because I'd look at myself, my arms and shoulders were weak. My stomach was hanging out. I'd look at myself in the mirror and I was just overwhelmed with feelings of guilt, shame, and regret. I did not like the person who was looking back at me in the mirror. So life has not always been great, but then it was introduced to some really cool people. I learned very, very early on that the medical system is not designed to have healthy people. It's designed for customers for life. So basically, it's a disease management program. And once you're on some sort of drug, they want to keep you on that drug, get you on more drugs. And it's just not designed for people to be happy and healthy. So I learned early on that, wait a minute, this system is not what it's, claiming to be. It's not, doesn't have my best interests or anyone's best interests at heart. So then I learned that, if I'm going to be healthy and happy, I need to take full control of that and take full responsibility for it and not leave that up to, because I went to several doctors and different specialists, and it just wasn't leading to any real solutions. And it wasn't until I met some really talented natural health practitioners that things really turned around for me.
That is so cool. And I completely agree with you. I think I've heard from some other people who are, health coaches and focused on health, that there's not even a nutrition course for doctors in their
Right.
studies. They don't even talk about, the food part, which is so important.
Yeah, and to speak on that just quickly is the food system is incredibly toxic these days. Since the Second World War, there's been so much use of pesticides, and not even that, but the fertilizers that are used on the crops are not even natural fertilizers. They're derived from petroleum, and there's only three minerals. They're not putting in trace minerals, and just the crops are sick. And when you have sick food that's laced with chemicals and pesticides that kill life, like pesticides and herbicides, they're designed to kill things. And where a lot of people are just consuming these things, and it's making people extremely sick,
Wow.
unfortunately.
So I know that, you have an amazing Amazon store, amazon.com/ultimate, where you can get your book, Ultimate Health, and some really cool stuff on there. So you can make your own probiotics. Is that one of the tools you think to combating that gut sickness?
Right. Well, one of the things people need to do is detoxify their body. In my book, I make that really easy for people, step by step, how to detoxify their body. It's not expensive. And oftentimes you can use things that are already in your household to achieve that result. Or you might have to buy some supplements here and there that are not expensive either. But what really moves the needle, as they say, is improving your gut health. And unfortunately, there's just been an attack on gut health, everything from antibiotics to birth control pills to the pesticides, the herbicides, all these things, the antibiotics that you can find in conventional um, meats and so on, these things actually destroy even also diet sodas. A lot of people drink diet sodas thinking that they're doing themselves a favor, and they're not, because those things go in and they disrupt your gut as well. I had something called leaky gut, and that's where the small intestine actually develops small holes in it, and things that you're eating and drinking are actually leaking into your bloodstream before they're fully digested and broken down properly. And then all those things become toxic to your system, and your immune system goes crazy, and it's just not a happy existence. So one thing I'd like to say is if anybody has any kind of bloating, indigestion, gassiness, constipation is terrible, diarrhea, any of these things, these are early warning signals that you need to take seriously and actually address, because they lead to so many other things. When your gut loses its integrity and it gets too many parasites, bacteria, viruses overwhelming the system, everything else is just at risk of, whatever your weakest link is in your body is probably going to flare up. And if you heal your gut and detoxify and get the good nutrition that your body needs, that I believe truly that anybody can overcome almost anything. Even autism, I've seen evidence of that. Some things like dementia and Alzheimer's, some of these things that people think are just conditions you'll have for the rest of your life, those things actually can and have been turned around.
Wow. Detox. That's the solution. And you can read it in your book, Ultimate Health, which you can find on Amazon. And also, I know you have some other amazing free resources on your website, craigbrockie.com/free.
Yeah,
And just for the listeners, I'm going to put a link in the show notes below so that you can just click through. But for the listeners that, yeah, but for the listeners that are not seeing the video portion of this, it's CraigBrockie.com, craigbrockie.com
that's right.
slash
Yeah, if
free.
you go to craigbrockie.com/free, I've got a free weight loss guide in there that makes it super easy for anybody. I don't care how many times you failed in the past with weight loss. I used to yo-yo all the time. I've gone up and down 50 pounds in my adult life, and it was always a problem. I'd lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back. And it's super frustrating. I'm sure anybody who's been through that can relate how frustrating that is. You get some, you lose the 20 pounds, and then you adjust your lifestyle back to how it was, and all of a sudden those 20 pounds come back, or 25 or 30 pounds come back. It's just this up and down thing. So I really believe I've cracked the code on weight loss, and I have a free guide there. Also, something that's super popular these days are peptides.
Yes.
Not everyone knows what peptides are, but all they are is basically small chains of amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, collagen, enzymes, hormones, neurotransmitters. Amino acids are life. And then when you get into small sequences of these, they're called peptides, and they have profound effects in the body. And I've got a free peptide cheat sheet, the ultimate free peptide cheat sheet, that explains what all the major ones are and how to use them. And it's really cool.
Wow. I love that. Peptides. I just like saying that. Just it sounds good. We actually recently got some body protein compound peptides that were supposed to, help with the joints and stuff. But one of
Mhm.
the things that just listening to a couple of things you've said so far that I realize is you got to start with the detox before any of these other things
Right,
are going to help, right?
right. And that chapter 1 is where you get started. in this book. In fact, you can at craigbrockie.com/free, you can download the first chapter of my book for free. And in that, you'll get started on the detox program right tomorrow. I mean, this doesn't have to take a long time either. Like within weeks, sometimes even days, you can start feeling better than you are now. And that's the cool thing, is that these things, once you have a win, it's like going to the gym when you haven't been to the gym forever. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit sore at first, but you start seeing results right away also. And I think that maybe is a bad analogy, because if you do things right and how I explain them in the book, you won't have soreness and you won't have a bad reaction. In fact, chapter 1 explains how to avoid having an adverse reaction when you are detoxifying. Because one of the problems that a lot of people have is that if they detoxify too quickly, those toxins go from where they are stuck in the body and they start floating around in your body fluids and blood and lymphatic system. And then all of a sudden, your body gets overwhelmed because these toxins, which were kind of hidden around, are all kind of floating around, and it's just too much for your body to handle. So in chapter 1, I explain how to avoid any kind of adverse reactions when you are detoxifying, so it's a comfortable experience for you.
That's so fascinating. It's so funny that you say that too, because the other day I thought I take handfuls of supplements and stuff, and I felt really sick for like an hour. And I said, I think I took too many vitamins. And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know if that's even possible, but it totally was. And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I usually don't take that many, but I got some new ones that I wanted to try, but I shoveled them all in my face. And then I was literally for like an hour, like felt really weird.
I'm sorry to hear that, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And the main thing you want to avoid when you're detoxifying is constipation, because these toxins that are getting released need to make an exit for your body. So that's the first thing that is really foundational, is making sure that you're having regular bowel movements so that when you are detoxifying, that these things are making their exit regularly.
Good advice. And you have so many great resources. Let's get back to your story though, because it's so
Okay.
interesting. And, so you were 21, you're looking in the mirror, you're like, what the what? And you meet these cool people, these natural doctors,
Right.
and you go on this journey around the world and become an entrepreneur and an author and all of these amazing things that you are now. But let's talk about, how did you get there?
Okay. Well, it was a personal referral that really got me on the right path, because I was going to see doctors and chiropractors and physiotherapists, and I just wasn't getting anywhere. I had chronic pain. My neck was sore. I had a couple of accidents too. Not only did I have leaky gut, but my body was too acidic and I had fungal overgrowth. It's called Candida yeast. It's
Mhm.
very common. Everybody's got it. It's just the degree that you have it. And when it gets too high of levels, the Candida yeast, it's just like parasites. Everybody's got parasites, everybody's got bacteria, but when these things get out of balance, they start causing a problem. Anyway, I met this massage therapist, of all people, of all things, and he was a very spiritual guy, and also he was into Chinese. He called it qigong. I think it's called qigong. It's kind of like Tai Chi, and we practiced these things. So a very spiritual guy, and he basically said, Craig, what I do for you in terms of this massage and referring you to doctors and so on is 10% of it. And what you do for yourself is 90% of it. So like if you're not going to take responsibility and do the things, he had me stretching. I was stretching about 20 to 30 minutes a day just to handle the chronic pain I was in. I had massive inflammation, but he actually introduced me to naturopathy, which is just natural medicine. And that was just a game changer for me. I knocked out the candida quite quickly, started healing my gut. And a lot of people, this is one thing everybody needs to know, is that neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, the feel good neurotransmitters, they're actually produced in the gut. So when your gut is unhealthy, then you're not getting a lot of these neurotransmitters produced, like serotonin. Even the American Psychological Association, you can go to their website today, and they will acknowledge that 95% of the body's serotonin is actually produced in the gut. So if your gut is disrupted, yeah, you're going to have anxiety. Yeah, you're going to have depression issues. It all really does come down to the gut. Your immune system is predominantly in your gut. So there's so many things you have to benefit from giving your gut some love. And I'm not just talking about your tummy, like in terms of body fat, but those things typically improve also when you improve your gut health.
Gut health. That's the
Yeah.
most important.
And that's why I got into this probiotic yogurt maker, which is so cool.
Yeah.
You can actually make your own probiotics at home. So instead of buying capsules and having to keep buying capsules every month, you can take one capsule, which usually has 10 to 50 billion live cultures in it. And then you actually put it into, we like to use organic half and half cream. And then we also put in some prebiotics, which are very inexpensive. We use organic prebiotics and then one capsule, and you can turn those billions into trillions of live cultures. And not only that, it tastes great and it's super easy to make. It takes like 10 minutes to make and it actually ferments for 36 hours. That's the magic in it, though. When you buy store-bought yogurts, first of all, it's usually only two species of probiotics, and they're not even very effective species. But with making your own probiotic yogurt, you can pick specific ones. There's ones that help for weight loss. There's ones that help for inflammation. There's other ones that help with skin and collagen formation and muscles. So there's these very specific probiotics that you can get. And store-bought yogurt is only fermented for about 6 hours. So it's not that strong. So it's got two bad strains and is only done for 6 hours. You take the top most effective strains for your particular issue, and then you ferment them for 36 hours. And the strength of these things is so powerful. You only have to have about half a cup a day of this probiotic yogurt. It's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I've had friends even get rid of dairy intolerances with this stuff. And they're using half and half dairy cream to make the yogurt. But it's phenomenal what this thing can do.
And so that's on your Amazon store, amazon.com/ultimate. They can
Yeah.
get their own.
We're
I'm
the
going to
number
get
one
one.
bestseller of probiotic yogurt makers on Amazon. We're about to hit TikTok shop. This thing's about to go crazy. We sell over $2 million a year of these probiotic yogurt makers. That's how popular these things are.
I'm getting one immediately after we.
I'm going to send you a free one for having me on my show.
Oh my gosh,
That's right.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I mean, and you know what's so funny is this is so exciting how easy it is. Like how you're like, look, start tomorrow, start today, people,
Yeah.
start today. Go to
Ex-
craigbrockie.com, start today, go to Amazon, get your yogurt maker. So tell me, so for the people that don't know,
Right.
what a probiotic is and the importance of it, because I know that can be really overwhelming. There's so much information. I know we've talked about peptides and now probiotics, and then you hear about prebiotics, and then you hear, there's all the things. What is the prevalence of them, and why is it so important to have the strong ones that focus on your specific issues?
Sure. Okay. Well, again, things like antibiotics, most of us have taken antibiotics several times in our lifetime. And those things wipe out not just the bad bacteria, but the good bacteria also. And then add to that birth control pills for the ladies out there. Those can disrupt your good bacteria. Sugar, sugar feeds bad bacteria. It feeds fungus. Um, there's all kinds of things like glyphosate, which is the most prevalent. It's called Roundup. This is the brand, but glyphosate, which is sprayed not just on the crops as they're growing, but if you're eating grains that are non-organic, they actually spray glyphosate on the grains as they're drying out as part of the processing step. So you're not just getting poisoned while the plants are growing, but you're getting poison while they're drying them out for processing. It's almost criminal. In fact, I would argue that it is criminal how much poison is put into our food supply. And anyway, there's just all these things. Stress impacts your microbiome. Microbiome is just the cultures of bacteria that are in your gut, or you have microbiome on your skin as well. It's important to have good. We're covered with bacteria in and out, but you just want to have the right bacteria and healthy ones, and make sure that the negative ones are not overpowering the good ones. Like there's good forces and evil forces. Basically, you want the good guys to always be in control and winning. But
It's like Star
yeah,
Wars in your gut.
right. Something that's really common these days is called SIBO, which is SIBO, and it stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And there's also something called SIFO, and that's SIFO, and that's fungal overgrowth in your small intestine. Your small intestine is just so important because that's where the food and nutrition that you're eating gets broken down and absorbed into your bloodstream. So when that's compromised, like you're not getting the nutrition you need. And when it gets as bad as it was for me, where it's actually leaking, then these foreign particles are leaking into your bloodstream, driving your immune system just crazy. And a lot of the autoimmune issues, I believe, are related to gut health and leaky gut, uh, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. These things are definitely like, if the people just handle their gut, I'm sure those symptoms will improve. But getting back to probiotics, prebiotics are what the probiotics feed off of. Okay. So when we're making this probiotic yogurt, we add prebiotics because the probiotics will start eating up the sugar in the half and half cream. And that's usually the lactose. And so some people are lactose intolerant. In fact, one of the most common things people are allergic to in dairy is lactose.
Hmm.
So that's probably why my friend who couldn't handle dairy, why he was able to tolerate this probiotic yogurt is because the probiotics start eating up the lactose. But that's not enough to get that huge count. So we add extra prebiotics into there. So the probiotics have so much to feed on over those 36 hours. And so what's happening is every 5 hours, the probiotic count is doubling. And so if you double something multiple times towards the end, it just goes exponential. And that's what's happening. Like an hour 36, the chart just goes whoop like that. And the power of these probiotics is just insane.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I love that there's a better solution than what most of us think there is, and that you've been through all of the things that didn't work and discovered this and then created it and helped so many people with it. I love that. I can attest I had a thyroid goiter.
Mm.
And I went to see a Chinese functional medicine doctor who also does acupuncture. And because they wanted to remove my entire thyroid, even though it wasn't cancerous, this goiter, and put me on medicine for the rest of my life. And something about it just did not sit well with me. I said, "There's no other options." They're like, "Nope." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't like that." So I'm like, "Oh, there's going to be a big scar, and all this, and then you just have to take medicine forever." And I was like, "That
Wow.
sounds awful. Like, why would you take a major organ from my endocrine system at the base of my neck, scar me for life, give me no other option?" So I'm sure there's so many people like me that were like, there's got to be a better way, just like you, and came up with the ultimate health.
I know.
It's so
I it's
cool.
it's it's really quite tragic, and that's why I actually wrote my first book. My first book was called Take Control of Your Health, and it was similar to this one, but I've just learned so much more over the last 20 years that this is truly like earlier on, I was just like, okay, let's take control of our health. Like we all know that the medical system is messed up,
Yeah.
and so we need to take control of your health. Here are the things you need to do to get on the right path. Now, 20 years later, I'm 50 years old. People think I'm much younger than I am. I
Yeah,
feel
you look
younger.
amazing.
Yeah, my energy's through the roof. Super positive. Anxiety is a thing of the past. I don't know. It's just, I want everybody who's listening to this to look and feel 10 years younger. And I think that that's so doable because most people have been lied to, and they've, to some extent, some more than others, have bought into those lies. For instance, one of the things that got me writing the first book, in fact, the thing that got me writing the first book, was I had an employee and his dad was dying of cancer. And I knew that I could help him. And I started explaining to his father various things that he could do to improve his condition. And but unfortunately, he already had an oncologist who explained to him, "Oh, you only have 4 months to live," or whatever the number was. And so he was just like, "Okay, it's a lost cause. I'm gonna die." Meanwhile, if you read my book, I've got a chapter that's called "Terminally Well." A
Yeah.
lot of people talk about terminal illness. I talk about terminal wellness. So the first part of that chapter explains, okay, well, here are some very specific terminal illnesses, and here's solutions to those things, and here's proven solutions that have repeatedly been implemented and have gotten results. And then I flip it over and I say, well, let's talk about terminal wellness. Let's be in our 80s and playing sports. Let's live to over 100 and be happy and not stressed out. And these things are so doable these days. The technology is just crazy. And even if we didn't have this technology, you just have to learn how to take care of yourself properly. Unfortunately, we're surrounded by so many toxins, but if you understand how to detoxify your body and stay on top of that, people are going to feel great. They're going to look great. They're going to look younger. People are going to ask you, what are you doing? And you're just going to say, I read Ultimate Health. I met
Yeah.
Craig Brockie. I was watching him on Tara's show. You got to just tune into these people that are going to change your life. And I truly believe I can help change people's lives.
And you are. You
And I
absolutely
am.
are. Gosh, this has been such a special show. I'm sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm so excited to go get your downloads, to get my yogurt maker and change my gut health in my life. And I'm so grateful for your dedication to this. For the people that are listening, don't wait. Go do it right now. Click the links in the show notes or go to craigbrockie.com. That's BROCKIE.com/free for those downloads, or most importantly, Amazon.com. We all have Amazon. Go to Amazon.com/ultimate. Get your yogurt maker and let us know. I'm sure, Craig, I bet you get stories all the time, like from
I love
people.
it. I
Yeah,
mean, we get reviews on Amazon every day, and some of the reviews are just phenomenal. And people who have read my book and give me the feedback, that's why I do this. I mean, I'm financially well off. I live in a waterfront house. I drive a Ferrari. Life is good. I'm not in this for the money. Sure, I'd like to make more money, and that's a game for me in itself. But for me, the way I make money is by helping people. And the more people I help, the more money I make, even though I'm giving away a lot of information for free. That's just the way the world works. You put a lot of positive out there and you help a lot of people and you attract attention helping people and give people true solutions, and you never have to worry about money.
exactly. And you know what's so funny? You just hit up the nail on the head. It's what we do with the information. It's like your massage therapist person said. This is 10% me, 90% you. So you're giving people the keys to the kingdom, and it's up to them to use it, unlock the door, take those actions, and run with it. And so I am so excited. Yeah, thank you. You just changed everything in my brain today.
I
And
love it.
I hope that the listeners had a similar impact and effect. And Craig, what's one thing you'd like to leave with them today?
Wow. Okay. Well, it's just that they can take control of their health. And so I get it. If you have a family doctor who's been very trustworthy and has never steered you wrong, that's great. So maybe you just need, if you don't have any symptoms, any chronic problems, and you don't have any of those indigestion issues like digestion issues and constipation, diarrhea, bloating, you name it. If you're not experiencing any of those things and you're symptom free, by all means, continue doing what you're doing. And you know, tell me what you're doing because I really want to know. I'm always learning. I'm a student first, a teacher second. So I would like I that's another thing I think everyone should be is just open to solutions. And when they hear something that makes them think, well, maybe that sounds too good to be true, but well, what if I look at it and take a look and see if there's any results and statistics and actual case studies that back this up? And if people read my book, you'll see the medical system, unfortunately, is not designed for you to be healthy. So if you start learning the truth and implementing it in your life, and the last chapter of my book is called Pay It Forward. I don't know if you ever saw that movie called Pay It Forward. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's a great
And
movie.
I love that movie. So there's a chapter in my book. I want people to learn these things and help other people with them as well. And you don't even have to credit me if you don't want to. If you want to say it's your idea, go for it. But just help people, get more people healthy and happy, and let's turn things around on this planet because things are kind of crazy out there. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
noticed, but
it's getting a little weird.
there's some room for improvement. And I know that we can turn things around, and it's up to us to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Craig. It has been a pleasure and a joy. And yeah, paying it forward. That's exactly it. Just help more people. That people need your help. That's sometimes what I have to tell myself when I sit down my computer. Like, it's not about you so much as the people that you are not helping. That you just got to
Exactly.
get to work. So pick up the tools, pick up the book, go to Amazon.com/ultimate. Go to craigbrockie.com and change your life, people. All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Craig.